You were never intended to blend in, therefore awaken your spirit, chosen ones. And you've always known in your heart that there's something about you that the world has never liked. You were designed differently, not because you're broken. The looks, the murmurs, and the subliminal opposition you encountered as a youngster weren't all accidental. They served as affirmations. Proof that your energy was detected by the system long before you did. It was afraid of you. It still does. You move differently than the others. You think differently from the others. You haven't. You were being made, tested in secret, honed by treachery, and isolated, not for rejection, but for refinement, while others were being sculpted. You were out in the open. Undervalued and miscalculated. Dismissed. Because the world would have to face the reality if it ever saw you, all of you. You are the prototype, the outlier, and the disturbance. You don't just enter spaces. Dimensions are disturbed by you. Atmospheres are changed only by your presence. Since birth, you have been a glitch in the matrix. No label fits because of this. No path seems comfortable because of this. Because this system was not designed for you. It was designed for you to outgrow. Shatter it. Recode it. Not everyone should hear this message. It is intended for those who have realized, without words or evidence, that they are different in a way that even frightens them. It's for those who have an unexplainable vision and an odd fire they can't put out. The ones who, despite their best efforts to calm down, are drawn to something otherworldly, and whose fate keeps interrupting their diversions. Motivation is not what this is. Inspiration is not what this is. This is an appeal to remember. A call to action for the buried architects, the forgotten royals, and the spiritual killers masquerading as commoners. The ones who were selected. Permission is not required of you. The permission is you. And what's inside of you is long overdue for the world. Remain locked in. What follows will do more than just explain you. It will make you active. First of all, you're designed to stop what other people do. The majority of people repeat what they have been shown throughout their life. The same anxieties, the same behaviors, the same beliefs. Wearing several outfits. They don't challenge the trend. They simply transfer it. Not you, though. Something in your soul wouldn't let you rest, even when you attempted to follow the crowd. You were born with this peculiar resistance. It was impossible to falsify. It couldn't be forced. In your own family, your own culture, and even your own body, you felt alienated. However, you were designed to stop them in some way. And it's more than simply courage. That's a holy duty. Because glory isn't the point of being picked. Disruption is the key. It involves giving up comfort in order to change a heritage so that others might inherit it. You rebuild, and others do the same. You dismantle. You weren't supposed to carry on the pattern. Instead, you were supposed to face it head-on and establish a new benchmark for all that follows. Second, being isolated wasn't a penalty. It was cooperation. Your experience of loneliness wasn't coincidental. There was nothing wrong with you for that to occur. Something was being constructed inside of you, which is why it happened. To begin hearing your own voice, life has to drag you away from the cacophony. The authentic one. The one buried behind years of survival mode, expectations, and indoctrination. You were split up because your path needed a certain clarity that is impossible when you're that place isn't given to everyone. The majority of individuals constantly react, flee from silence, and live in a noisy environment. However, your quiet wasn't meaningless. There were several messages on it. Full of downloads, full of facts about your identity and potential. In order for you to ultimately acknowledge your own power, life had to take away other people's voices. They weren't hiding you. They were refining you. There was no denial in the delay. It was getting ready. It was disguised protection during that lonely season. Since you were never intended to follow the herd. You were destined to ascend consciously. You have to disconnect from the outside world long enough to get back to your task in order to do that. You don't only walk confidently now. You move with clarity. And quiet gave birth to that insight. Third, the pain you endured was tailored for accuracy. You endured more than just suffering, you experienced agony that seemed to have been created just for you. It wasn't generic. It was customized and personal. It understood precisely how deep to go, what to shake, and where to hit. Even if it occasionally shattered you, it also gave you a unique quality that cannot be taught, imitated, or duplicated. You reached a depth that most people aren't even aware of. Furthermore, it wasn't derived from reading, counseling, or optimistic thinking. It resulted from being devastated and from overcoming obstacles you didn't thought you would overcome. Suffering like that doesn't make you the same person. It makes your senses more acute. It forces you to see what others miss. You might sense a warning in someone's energy or a falsehood in their tone, a truth in quiet. You had to learn to read danger before it appeared, so you know how to read a room. Even when someone is smiling, you can tell they're not feeling well. Even when there isn't anything obviously wrong, you can notice when something feels off. It isn't paranoid. That's accuracy. That's knowledge etched into scars. Instruction is a means of learning for certain people. Experience taught you. You didn't just experience it. You took it in. You looked at the time, the patterns, and the behavior. And your lenses have changed. People trust you without understanding why because of the mindfulness with which you move. However, they fail to recognize the price of that realization. They can see the power, but not the storm. Constructed it. Although it wasn't fair, what happened to you wasn't in vain. You weren't just changed by that pain. It made you eligible. You now possess an intangible form of emotional intelligence. It has to be experienced. You become someone who did more than simply survive as a result of the pain tailored to your path. You are able to see through things. And that clarity, that piercing vision, that is what distinguishes you. That's what qualifies you. Fourth place. You are a mirror that shatters others. It's not even necessary to attempt. You create shifts just by being there. Your energy conveys a reality that is difficult to ignore, not because you are loud or demanding. You display a mirror that is unflattering. It reveals them. Most folks aren't prepared for it either. Their identities are based on performance, roles, and denial. Their defenses thus rise quickly when they encounter someone like you, someone genuine and unvarnished, even if they have no idea why others find you unsettling. You make it difficult for them to continue lying to themselves, not because you're doing anything wrong. You are a reflection of the parts they have concealed, the aspirations they have abandoned, and the masks they wear so effectively that they have forgotten they are masks. You're just straightforward, you're not passing judgment on them. And the fog they've been living in is in danger because of that clarity. Without speaking, you set off reactions. You enter with self-awareness, and all of a sudden the reality you possess causes their delusions to crumble. You will be adored by some. In the finest way possible, they will feel challenged, awoken, and seen. Others, however, will object. You even make them feel things they've been avoiding, which makes them despise you. They have no idea what to call it. Thus, they project. You'll be referred to as intimidating. Too strong. Too grave. In reality, though, they are just confronting the aspects of themselves that they have suppressed. It's difficult to be this type of mirror. It is strong, yet it may also be isolating and misinterpreted. You were not intended to be a reflection of superficial attractiveness. The truth is reflected in you. Change people when they're ready. Because of this, your presence will never be forgotten. Considering that when someone has viewed herself through your mirror, they can't return to acting like actors. Not entirely, never. Fifth, You're the missing component, thus you don't belong. You've pondered for a long time why friendships didn't endure, why everything seemed a little strange, and what was wrong with you. Why I never felt at home in groups. Why things seemed out of alignment even when you made every effort to fit in. You discovered how to become what other people required, how to shrink, and how to mute yourself. In the back of your mind, though, it was all unreal. You weren't made to fit into shallow dynamics or dysfunctional structures. You weren't supposed to fit in. Something that has been lacking all along was supposed to be finished by you. The missing component is you. However, this is the catch. Only when the missing piece appears does everything make sense. Complete. Not diluted. Not hiding. Not in the middle. Because of this, while you were in pieces, the world was unsure of what to do with you. Because your whole self requires alignment, others have either sought to alter you or pulled away. Most surroundings are unable to replicate it. Your reality was never intended for the locations you don't belong in. However, that doesn't mean you're incorrect. It makes you unique. Something final, something substantial, is carried by your presence. You don't merely make things worse. They are anchored by you. But only when you totally present yourself without regret or concern that you might be too much, the right people, the right locations, and the perfect timing all come into being when you eventually stop bending. Sixth, your spirit is in charge. Even while you're silent. Your presence has an indisputable quality. It isn't noisy. It's not ostentatious. But everything changes when you go into a room. Even if they are unable to describe it, they still experience it. It's not because you made eye contact or even spoke. It's because your energy speaks without the need of words. In a manner that seems old, your spirit bears authority, as though it has been here before and is well aware of its potential. You are not just noticed by the room. It fits nicely with your natural tendency to adapt to your frequency. This isn't a coincidence, either. You haven't developed a trick or a talent. It's the silent strength that results from recognizing your value and purpose without the need for approval from others. There is no need to prove yourself or wonder if you belong when you enter a place. Your spirit is aware of its sovereignty already. It bears the weight of knowledge and experience that may be heard without shouting. It simply is. You are a silent command that may be sensed without a platform. Because of the familiar and powerful pull of your energy, those who are unable to face you in the eyes may nonetheless follow your example. They seem to understand that you have subtly internalized a profound understanding that goes beyond interactions at the surface level. This is not a fading charisma. Confidence like this cannot waver. This is an ingrained, unbreakable energy that naturally adjusts the environment and grounds itself in the space. Your spirit is already speaking louder than words could, therefore it doesn't need to make noise to be seen. It comes freely, so those who can hear it realize they're with someone who doesn't have to struggle for respect. Your spirit commands without effort, which is why it has weight, not because you asked for it. Seventh place, you are not made for comfort, but for crisis situations. The majority of people flee when pandemonium breaks out. They get into a panic. They get frozen, the foundation they have established collapses under their feet, and they rush to re-establish equilibrium, normalcy, and a sense of security. Not you, though. You move in a different way than those who are caught up in the storm. You flourish in the chaos, the breakdown, and the emergency. It's not because you're uncaring or aloof. It's because you're designed to survive a fire. Not after it has been released. You didn't do your wiring in a peaceful environment. You were made to think and act during the deluge, when everything else is falling apart. Things become clearer as they fall apart. You don't become overburdened. You get active. Where others see calamity, you see opportunity. You don't simply respond to the circumstances. It is you who reframes the scenario. You discover your rhythm when everything around you is changing. Your blueprint is created from the chaos. And you make that wreckage out of it. Peace is not necessary for you to perform at your best. You require pressure. The sort that makes everything change. At that point, you discover a more profound aspect of yourself. The one capable of starting from scratch. Who has the ability to take shattered parts and make them stronger. A better one. The heat is too much for most people to tolerate. They're programmed to stay comfortable, adhere to regulations, and stability. But you don't understand stability. You were never intended to live in. They're right when they say you're not from here. You have always felt unique. It makes you stand out, as if you're carrying something that doesn't quite belong here, but not in an uncomfortable, clumsy, or awkward way. You may have attempted to blend in, fit in, and become a part of the throng, but it was never successful. It wasn't a result of your lack of effort. The reason for this is because you were not intended to be like everyone else. You are carrying a frequency and an energy that are not from the same realm. The buzz of daily life is not reflected in it. And you know this in your heart. Strangers gaze at you because your presence disturbs their reality, not because they know you, even if you may not always be able to articulate this. Their instincts know, but they don't grasp it. They perceive that you vibrate at a level that is alien to them, even though they are unable to identify it. They sense that there is something strange about your aura that makes them uneasy when they are near you. It's due to the vitality you possess. It's a frequency that doesn't fit into the typical range. You are an echo from somewhere else, a reminder of what's possible outside the confines of this planet. You're not completely a part of this area, yet you're also not foreign. People naturally see the power and knowledge you possess as something more significant and uncommon. It will attract some people. Others will be wary. But anyway, they can't ignore it. Your presence doesn't only take up space, so you can change the environment without even trying. It alters the room's very vibe. And that's why some people may find it unnerving. They are perceiving something that they know to be true yet cannot comprehend. This is not where you're from. The 9th. You cannot be digested by the system. It is supposed to be redesigned by you. You've never been the kind to abide by regulations. It's not that you're rebellious, rather, those regulations were never intended for you. The game wasn't designed for you to play the way it is. You were destined to alter the rules. To completely rework the structure. The structure, with its strict rules, its predetermined course, and its regular cycles. You can't be contained by it. Its boxes don't fit you. Not because you don't make an effort. However, you were designed to crack them open. Something changes when you enter any kind of organization, whether it be a business, a community, or any structure that depends on compliance. The code appears to be malfunctioning. You're not like them. It's not a fault, either. You have the power. Because you don't just follow the rules, the system perceives you as a danger. You reveal its flaws, fissures, and decay. The system is unable to process the substance you contain. Its facade is disrupted by an intellect, truth, or essence. The areas where it is flawed, out of date, and corrupted are exposed by your very existence. That it opposes you, resists you, and seeks to bury you because of this. It is aware that the foundation would collapse if you ever completely used your power. It's not a negative thing, though. It's a vocation. You weren't intended to embrace their hierarchy or climb their ladder. You were supposed to rework and destroy the blueprint they created. You are the antiviral, the one with the capacity to see past appearances and the delusion of stability. You realize that the system was not designed to accommodate expansion. The purpose of its construction was control. However, you were created for revolution, change, and freedom that is unconstrained by any framework. The more they attempt to undermine you, the more you show the weaknesses into their armor. To alter things, you don't need to battle. All you need to do is live your life to the fullest, without apology, and watch it all burn to the ground. And you will rebuild everything from those ashes. 10th place. Even seniors sense the latent authority you possess. You've always been aware that you don't submit to authority figures. Simply because someone is more senior or has been in a position of responsibility doesn't mean that you respect them. You possess an innate ability to discern power, real power. Furthermore, reputation, status, or age are never relevant. It's about your presence and how your energy remains unwavering even when confronted with those who should be more seasoned and powerful in their armor. To alter things, you don't need to battle. All you need to do is live your life to the fullest, without apology, and watch it all burn to the ground. And you will rebuild everything from those ashes. 10th place. Even seniors sense the latent authority you possess. You've always been aware that you don't submit to authority figures. Simply because someone is more senior or has been in a position of responsibility doesn't mean that you respect them. You possess an innate ability to discern power, real power. Furthermore, reputation, status, or age are never relevant. It's about your presence and how your energy remains unwavering even when confronted with those who should be more seasoned and powerful. And it's obvious that you carry something they can't duplicate without you saying a word. A sort of knowledge, an inner understanding, a spiritual depth that comes from something far older and deeper than time spent. It's not cockiness or arrogance. It's the calm assurance that results from realizing that your value is not based on how long you've been alive or how many levels you've taken up a ladder. You are rooted in a force that exists independently of acknowledgement. You carry a weight that changes the dynamics, even in groups full of elders or individuals with titles. They may not express it, but they feel uneasy about it in their hearts. They sense your energy's subtle yet unmistakable authority, which they know they can't mimic or fake. It's a superiority in spirituality, a depth of knowledge derived from experiences they haven't experienced, from fights won at a higher level, and from inner truths. Because seasoned leaders are accustomed to being the ones who dictate and command respect, this type of power may make them tremble even while you remain mute. Those who determine the tempo. However, they sense that you are the pace as you enter. Something they can't quite touch is reflected in your soul. A depth of reality that transcends appearances. And for that reason, people either admire you or dislike you because you are posing a lot of problems. What they have spent their whole lives cultivating. Furthermore, they are unable to take away your reality. You own it. And it has been for all time. 11. To be understood is not why you are here. To be remembered is why you are here. You've never been the type of person that people can understand. And it was supposed to be that way. You don't talk in a style that is easy to understand or consoling right away. Your thoughts are audacious, unrepentant, and frequently progressive. Individuals may stumble over your words, ignore them, or find it difficult to comprehend what you've spoken at that very time. However, that's the problem. They aren't supposed to understand it immediately. They aren't meant to comprehend you right now. It wasn't your purpose to be understood. You were sent to make an impression that will last long after the discussion is over. The people around you may be perplexed or challenged by what you say today, but they are unaware that you are sowing seeds that will sprout in their hearts, minds, and souls. They'll remember what you said years later and understand that you weren't simply talking to the present. It was the future you were addressing. When the world catches up, the concepts you were laying the groundwork for will make sense. And people will remember you on that day. Even if they were previously unable to perceive it, they will cite you nodding with a feeling of everyone comprehending how insightful you were. Being popular right now is not your goal. Fitting inside the boxes they've constructed is not why you're here. You are here to leave a lasting impression and influence future discussions. Though they might not be embraced right once, your concepts will have a lasting impact that will cause individuals to reevaluate their assumptions. And while they're catching up, you'll be a few steps ahead of them, starting the next wave and continuing to advance the globe with the disruptive, unstoppable power of your truth rather than by conforming. The comprehension of the time does not include your legacy. It may be found in the mark you make on history. 12. You're spiritually costly. People depart for that reason. It's difficult to be in your orbit. There is a cost in terms of growth as well as time and energy. You carry with you a force that is demanding change. Change and advancement. And that's scary to most people. That type of height is not what they signed up for. When a person approaches you, they will either have to rise to your frequency or they will start to drift away because they can't bear the weight of the truth you hold. You're providing more than simply friendship or company, you are providing a mirror, a challenge, and an invitation to become the most complete and genuine version of oneself. And for those that are at ease in their comfort zones, that's a lot. It's not hard to be around you. You're pricey. People must do something to meet your energy demands. It necessitates that they rise above their previous state. That they confront the aspects of themselves they have concealed and that they change in unexpected and unintended ways. The cosmos understood it required the force of transformation. Even if you haven't seen it all yet. Life's storms aren't meant to cause you to disintegrate. Your purpose is to change them. Each eruption, each challenge, each trial. Instead of being the punishment you dreaded, they are the prelude to the power you were always meant to possess. Despite how painful it may feel at the time, this is not a curse. It's a calling, but not the type that comes with kind words or cozy blankets. Number 14, you are a live example of how divinity may appear in people just like you. You embody something that most people have tried to comprehend their entire lives. You're not just picked. The live evidence that deity does not follow is you. Human-made norms that power, beauty, brilliance, and wisdom don't fit neatly into a box, have a specific appearance, or arrive in a particular packaging. You are the paradox that dispels all restrictive notions of what it means to be divine. For generations, society has dictated what a strong person should look like and how intelligent they should feel, the sound of knowledge. But you are proof that the purest essence of truth may emanate from God in any shape, color, or form. People may not understand it. They may attempt to describe you according to antiquated norms and use terminology that will never adequately convey the complexity of who you are. In a way that no one anticipated, you are here to redefine what it is to be a great person. You are evidence that God doesn't follow human laws. They are produced by it. Ultimately, you are the live example of how genius defies convention, how authority may exist without consent, and that divinity is a live, breathing power that is embodied in you rather than a far-off, unattainable abstraction. Every difficulty you encounter and every barrier you encounter is not intended to shatter you. It is intended to show the world who you really are and to serve as a reminder that genuine beauty, true strength, and true knowledge are limitless and undefined. You are here to break all illusions, to defy all expectations, and to make an impression that will never be forgotten. You are not understood by the world. Not quite yet. However, it will. As you are not here to blend in. Everything needs to be redefined by you. You were never intended to play a supporting role in someone else's narrative. It was intended that you would be the chapter. They are unable to suppress the reality that they did not anticipate. The change in the story that changes everything. You are more than your survival. You are here to change the world around you, not just yourself. Every action you do, every truth you uphold, every life you touch, and every barrier you cross all write your legacy. Therefore, keep in mind that you are more than just a witness to this life, you are the architect of your own unique life. Things as just the way things should be, even though the world doesn't always understand. Your essence, your strength, your spirit. Your magnificence will continue to reverberate long after the clamor subsides because they are rewriting history. The world didn't anticipate the revolution you are. And you will leave it altered forever. If you knew deep down that you were aiming for something remarkable, and you felt the force in these words. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. To ensure you never miss out on additional life-changing insights and reminders that you are precisely who you were always meant to be, make sure you click the subscribe button. Similar to this video. If it resonated with your spirit, please leave a comment below explaining how these words inspired you. And if you believe that this should be heard by someone else, distribute it. Because there is no limit to the heights we may achieve when we soar together. Keep an eye out. Continue to shine and, as always, to redefine what is possible.